Thank you, Chairman Steil, Ranking Member Morelli, and distinguished members of the committee. Thank you for inviting me to appear before you today to testify about the work of the Office of the Inspector General for the Federal Election Commission. We appreciate your interest and continued support for our work. Our mission is to detect and prevent fraud, waste, and abuse and other violations of law, and to promote economy, efficiency, and effectiveness in the operations of the FEC. The OIG strives to promote improvements to FEC operations, programs, and initiatives by independently conducting value audit engagements that include audits, evaluations, and investigations. Each year, we are required to identify the most serious management and performance challenges facing the Commission. Accordingly, I'd like to spend a few minutes today to talk about some of the most significant challenges facing the Commission that my office has identified and reported. Next year will mark the 50th anniversary of the FEC. Needless to say, much has changed in that half-century. In 1976, the first presidential election cycle after the FEC was established, federal campaigns raised and spent around $300 million in total. In the 2020 presidential election cycle, that number was $14.4 billion. Much of that increase in campaign fundraising and spending has occurred since U.S. Supreme Court's 2010 decision, Citizens United v. FEC. That decision significantly altered the legal landscape regulated by the FEC and led to a rapid growth in contributions to campaigns and committees, both in total dollars and in the number of transactions subject to FEC oversight. As shown in Figure 1, total spending on federal campaigns during the presidential election cycles increased from $6.3 billion in 2012 to approximately $14.4 billion in 2020. Expenditures during midterm elections increased from $3.6 billion in 2010 to $8.9 billion in 2022. Similarly, the number of transactions subject to FEC oversight increased more than 20-fold, from 28 million to 616 million during that same period. Despite those increased obligations, the FEC's resources have diminished over the same time frame. As you'll see in Figure 2, the Commission's budget has increased by an average of only 1.6% per year. As shown in Figure 3, the agency's annual budget, in fact, has decreased when adjusted for inflation. The FEC's 2023 budget was approximately 10.6% less than its 2010 budget in current dollars. These limitations have had significant impacts on the agency. Most notably, it has caused a reduction in the size of the FEC's workforce. As shown in Figure 4, from 2010 to present, the agency's workforce decreased from 348 to 305 staff. In summary, the agency has lost 12% of its workforce during a period in which its workload has skyrocketed. These reductions have been entirely among career agency staff. They include campaign finance analysts, attorneys, and auditors who carry out the essential functions of the FEC. One impact is that the FEC ranked last among comparable agencies in a 2021 survey of employee satisfaction and engagement. In addition, having worked in the federal OIG community for 15 years, I can tell you from experience that agencies are reluctant to report performance challenges. As such, it is significant that the FEC has done just that and has reported that performance has been adversely impacted by staff shortages and that performance targets have been reduced as a result. For example, the agency reported that it has not met performance goals to complete audits and process committee reports on time due to these staff shortages. Agency resource limitations affect the implementation of OIG recommendations. As detailed further in my written testimony and in our semi-annual reports to Congress, the OIG has addressed 173 hotline inquiries, conducted numerous evaluations and audits, and issued 25 recommendations in the last 3 years. Currently, there remain 20 open recommendations. Those recommendations cover agency operations and programs ranging from improvements in campaign finance oversight, stronger regulation of unlawful foreign contributions, and improvements to agency financial and human capital management. My staff and I have a good working relationships with the Commission and agency leadership, who have been open in their dialogue with us in response to our recommendations. A common refrain in that dialogue has been that the agency's limited resources impede implementation of OIG recommendations. Despite these challenges, my office will continue to provide oversight of the FEC to include developing actionable recommendations to improve agency operations and programs. In closing, I want to thank Chairman Steil, Ranking Member Morelli, and members of the committee for this opportunity to testify today. Going forward, the OIG remains committed to conducting engagements in support of the FEC. I look forward to continuing to work with my OIG team, the Commission, members of Congress, and SIGI to provide oversight of the FEC on behalf of the American taxpayers. Our work to date reflects the exceptional efforts of the OIG team. It is an honor and a privilege to lead such a talented group of individuals. Thank you again for this opportunity, and if you have any questions, I will be happy to address them at this time.
Thank you.